Thank you very much. So next up is Jane and Sharon. And this is brought to you by a different education company, which is called the Virtual REI Academy, which is more focused on residential single family. And the way this came about is people really liked how we taught on multifamily. And they said, have you guys ever thought about doing single family? And I started off in single family and thank God got out. Sorry, Jane Sharon. But and then Nicole still does a little bit of single family. What we ended up doing was we found a bunch of full-time expert investors that were specialists in their field. And we basically put a group together and did, it's not a 5-day course or anything like that. It might be an hour, it might be 4 hours, somewhere in between, about different strategies that you can actually take or participate in. So the Virtual REI Academy, and I'll share it with you in a second, has about 45 different courses in all sorts of different creative strategies. And that is Jane and Sharon. Oh, here they are. Look at this. There they are. You guys see my screen?
Yes.
I love this picture. So this is the Virtual REI Academy, a bunch of stuff in there. This is Jane and Sharon, our partners who are phenomenal. They've been doing residential real estate for 7 years. Is that right?
2016. Yep, 2016.
Okay, so 7 years, and have done, I guess, over at this point 150 deals, and a lot of them virtually, which everyone's always excited about. Right after COVID, everyone wants to stay home and make money. So there's some of the few people I know that actually do that. So I'm going to turn it over to them. I can't say enough about them. They're just phenomenal people, great investors, and just good friends. So I'll turn it over to you guys.
Thank you, James. That means a lot. And we learned so much from you and Nicole. You guys are a great wealth of information, and we're glad we can learn from you. I'm going to share the screen. Today we decided to, there we go.
We're getting good with this PowerPoint stuff.
Do a little bit of, we actually were invited to a group in Indiana. We do some investing in Indiana, and they asked us to do a presentation. So we decided we would just share the presentation that we did with you guys. Some of it is you will see on the webinar that we created. Some of the content here you'll see on that free webinar. So this is a little prequel to that as well. Oops, sorry. Who are we? We just wanted to go over, that we have some new people here, and some other people might not know our full story. We've been investing since 2016. We've completed over 140 deals. Like James said, it's probably over 150 now. We do teach and coach. A lot of times we'll teach and coach beginners and people that are just starting out, teaching them the strong foundation so that they learn how to do things the right way. And we currently own a recording studio that we can have live events or hybrid events.
Or try to put out better content. So you're not looking at a blue wall. So a little bit why we got into virtual investing, or, I guess doing stuff from afar. We were in the midst of moving from Maryland to Florida. We had a couple projects in 2 states, and mind you, we retired from a government job, had little to no experience in real estate whatsoever. We did a little bit of trying to figure out how to wholesale in Maryland, and then eventually came into one of our mentors who we ended up getting some properties with, and basically having, that dilemma of we just got started and things are going really great in Maryland, but we really want to move to Florida, and that was our timeline. So basically we moved to Florida, and then we were so excited we found more properties down here. So then at that point we just had projects in 2 states, and we had to figure out how to, navigate that with a flip going on in Maryland and a flip going in Florida, and figuring out how to make that work. And then at the same time, shiny object, and we're running around as much as we can at networking events and different things. So then we started networking with people all over the country, and mind you, we're introverts. We're not really out there running around talking to people, but we would go to the meetings. We were just kind of sucking it all in. Later we learned that we really got to get out of our shell, and that's the biggest thing. But, we were networking with people, we were getting business cards and different things. And then, the more deals you close and the more people take notice that you actually close things and you buy things, and you start getting deals. Like James was saying earlier, he just opens his inbox and now there's, random deals in there that turn out to be pretty good deals. So just all that networking, and, we kind of sat back like little squirrels here, getting all our little business cards and people and different states, and, seeing what we have an affinity for. And then that's kind of how we got into the virtual investing with, all these folks and relationships. And, it takes a couple years, and, in our part a little bit more, but, and then you just start getting deals and you make them happen.
And Jane, she is good at connecting people. She started out with just connecting the dots. This person needed this, this person might have needed a title company. And then we had a relationship with a title company attorney. So she put them together, and then, she's connecting the dots and networking and connecting people to the point where now, people are, we give back. So then, what comes around goes around. We put good out in the universe, and then it comes back.
And just like, one of the things with us with this Teaching Tuesday, like we met Nicole and James back in, very early on. And I remember James talking about that glazed look coming out of his, eyes, and like, what did she just say? And holy smokes, what do I got to do here? Like these two big binders. I mean, that class is absolutely phenomenal. And we can't wait to come again, just because now we know a little bit more, so it'll make sense. And sometimes you're not ready to hear that information that was given, but like now we're ready to take it all in. And, we came out of that, but, I always remember that, Nicole was just super smart, super intelligent investor, always dots the I's. And, and James, we met with him about some multifamily stuff early on that we didn't know what to do with, but now we do. So it's just, just keeping those relationships from back in 2016 or early 17. I can't remember when we go to that school, but it was very early on in our journey here.
And of course, with everything else and all the different types of investing, there's pros and cons. So I grabbed a hold of the pros.
Of course.
You're not tied down to one market. You have many markets out there that you can gravitate towards. And then you beat the saturation. When we moved to Florida, the prices we were outpriced on a lot of the properties here. We had a hard time filling our pipeline and getting deals because people were paying too much for the house, and they weren't following any of the 1% rule, or there wasn't enough meat on the bones. So going to different markets, we were able to grab more deals and have more deals in the pipeline. And then, just we have access to a larger network. We can reach out to different people in different niches and different areas when we need them. And it's great. We know if we're doing, notes, we know a person that is good and does notes. If we want, and if we want an attorney that specializes in foreclosures, we know a couple of those in different states and different areas. So you end up your network just spreads humongously. Then you can reach out to different people to work with them in different states and have more access to partnerships and lending.
So, and of course I get the bad things, but go figure. The biggest part of doing remote real estate or virtual is that you're not physically present. Like, you can't get in the car and we can't drive down the street and say, oh my God, look at our beautiful house, or look at the renters, they're trashing the house, or, you're not physically present. So you have to account for that. You have to have people that will do that for you, or just, be in the mindset that you can't just get in the car and go see that. It also makes it a little bit more difficult for private lending, because most people want you to be, present at that house. We have lenders here in Sarasota who won't They won't lend on anything outside that they have to drive 30 minutes, because they too want to go look at the property to make sure you're taking care of the property that you borrowed money to use for that property. So that just not being physically present, it's more difficult to build rapport, and that goes for private money lenders as well as the renters, the buyers and the sellers. So if I'm talking to somebody on the phone, as opposed to going to their house and building that rapport to see if, how we're going to help them out of their situation, or, if they're behind in their mortgage, it comes across better if I'm in person. It's just a little bit more difficult to build rapport and make them trust you, because, we've had situations where we're trying to buy a house in Maryland and we have a Florida number, or, I have a Pennsylvania number and I'm living in Florida. It just has scam written all over it. So we really have to get through that rapport period. And we typically don't have that much trouble with that once we talk to them a little bit. But, this is where Zoom and, FaceTime and some of these neat technology things come in to pay. Something we haven't quite got around yet is you have to pay for small tasks. If we kick somebody out of a house here, or, need to change locks because we closed, we could just run around the corner and do it. If it's in, Charleston, Mississippi, or Florence, South Carolina, it's a little bit harder and we can't do that. So we have to pay that. So you just have to build that into your numbers. We always had to have those, when you're doing your sheets about, how much it's going to cost, we always add in those small tasks. And then just relying on other people, we always find that our biggest problems have a first name and a last name. So relying on other people to do what they said they were going to do, there'll be times when you're getting ready to close a house and you say, hey, can you go change the locks? And the guy says, yeah. And then, he doesn't show up and you gotta find somebody else or whatever. So it's just relying, there's some of the problems that you're gonna have to get around. Nothing is too difficult with cameras and phones and Zoom and all that stuff, but it's just those things you have to be aware if you're gonna, kind of jump into the virtual realm there.
And how we do fill our pipeline or our multiple pipelines throughout the states. Our favorite way is to get a hold of bank-owned and foreclosure houses. And our favorite platform is the HUD Home Store. We really like that. It's, comes with its, algorithms, and you have to have a realtor and stuff. But we also use Hudson and Marshall. We use Zoom, different types of platforms to grab our houses. And of course, we reach out to wholesalers. And one good thing is when we do reach out to wholesalers, we can tell them exactly how, what deals we're looking for, what we, the numbers, and help them out. A lot of wholesalers, they'll be brand new, and we can kind of help them along the way and teach them and show them the ropes, so they're better wholesalers and able to move their properties. And then we become their pocket buyers.
And then just the biggest, the internet is always your best friend. It's always our best friend. Facebook Marketplace is, there's a lot of deals there that, like little mobile homes they have in there. Some people are selling their house, owner finance. We typically go, if I see stuff on Marketplace, I'll typically take a few hours and go through the night and just say, over and over again, are you interested in owner finance, subject to, owner finance, subject to. So you're just trying to put other things out there, or a lease option, or, just answering people, or, saying you're interested, and then get that conversation going. They might know somebody, you might know somebody that wants their house. So, Facebook Marketplace has been really good for us since COVID. I wasn't on there too much. A lot of it was Craigslist, but, Craigslist is still there. For sale by owner is still there. We have several properties on for sale by owner right now. So there's just the internet is just going to be your best friend virtually, for the pipeline, as well as, Google Maps and crime stats and school stats and everything else.
And I know we talk about this every week and we really hone in on it, but networking, and then building those strong relationships, that definitely will propel your business. That's, I can't speak of that more than we do. It's not enough of it.
And we're really trying to get into the, in some ways it's sad, but like you really have to be out there. You kind of have to be noticed. So you really need powerful marketing and brand exposure, because that's, people's attention span is 2 to 3 seconds. And, you got to grab them and you got to get things going. And we're trying to really do a better job of kind of getting out there, so everybody knows we're buying houses. Everybody knows we're doing the virtual REI Academy. Everybody knows we're working with James and Nicole, because you want to get out there. And, our big thing is we're trying to give back. Like, a lot of people helped us, and we want to do the same thing. Like Nicole said, she might not know everything or whatever, but she probably does know everything. We definitely don't know everything, but we know where to find it, or we know who to direct people to, or we can help with some of the things with, tips and tricks, do's and don'ts that have come back to kind of bite us in the ass.
And it ways that it helps enhance it, just builds your business. And we learned that once we stopped doing the mundane activities and
Minimum wage activities.
yes, minimum wage mundane activities that and ended up working, on the relationships and filling our pipelines and doing the money making activities, then we really did propel. And it does create a larger network. Like Jane was saying, we can reach out to so many different people from so many different areas that have different niches, or they know more than we do about this, certain topics or types of investing.
And even that is kind of, we've tried to bring some of those folks along on Tuesday, just, so you can see different people. Ray was big in the branding, Nico was painting, Carlin with the short-term nurse rental. So just trying to bring our network to everybody else, so that when, if you get a deal, that you can say, well, this doesn't work for me, but maybe I can JV with this person, because then that leads into building your net worth and strong partnerships and collaborations, because you'll get there quicker with partners. If you just try to do everything yourself, you're just going to keep spinning your wheels. You do one deal at a time. But the more that you have partnerships and strong collaborations or JVs, you're going to build your net worth quicker.
And when you do network with people and get together and, have weekly meetings, or meetings every once in a while, or learn and glean off of each other, then it's encouragement. A lot of people do investing by themselves, and it is lonely, and you do need other people around you to build you up, and it, challenge you. You get out there, you let people know what you're doing, and then you're held accountable. You better go out there and do it. So you don't want to be the only one coming back without a deal, or without working on something.
And just all these relationships give you access to new markets. I can probably just about every state I know somebody in that we could call. They might not be close to where I'm looking, but they might know somebody. Or, some of the bigger markets where, we definitely, or the places that we invest in, we take time to go meet people in that area, so that we have access to those new markets. And then, that's people we JV with, or that will just do us a favor because we did them a favor. Obviously we try to, include other people if it's in their market. And then, it just gives you access to so much more instead of just being stuck in one market.
And this is coaches and mentors that we've had through the years, and people that's, helped us along the way and given us advice and tips. These are the different coaches and mentors in different fields. The first one, Mark Jackson, MJ, he's our original mentor that taught us real estate from the beginning. As rookies, he taught us wholesaling, and then started slowly teaching us the holds and the flips.
Yeah, and he does stuff virtually too, so that was a big help with getting the virtual stuff. Obviously there's Nicole and our good friend Dave, and there's Miranda.
There's Miranda.
So again, this was a conference in Tampa that they came to, that then we got to spend time with them, and this one was kind of funny. Nicole had, said, hey, we're coming to this, and she knew about a conference I didn't even know about. And then, we decided that was a very good idea to go hang out with them. A lot of good conversation there, and it was a great conference. I think it was Pete Fortunato conference, and he's in our backyard.
The only person that's missing is James up there.
Right, James didn't
We'll have
come
to
down with us.
Yes, he'll have to come next time.
So, and then these are just, John Heyer is another,
Accountant.
yeah, he's brilliant, and Nicole's familiar with him, has attended some of his stuff. Francie Baldwin there is a great marketer and brander. JT Fox has become our business coach and helped with some of the partnerships. And then, just some other people we get to hang out with is Hugh Hilton. Yep, it's a Hilton. And Mike Slade, who was best friends with Steve Jobs, and did some work for Microsoft and ESPN and stuff. So just trying to put yourself, we always try to put ourselves in the room that we're not the smartest person. Like we want to be the one that we're always learning from. So I just think it's important to have coaches and mentors, so you don't make those wrong decisions all the time. Certainly if we get something multifamily, I'm not even gonna try to hesitate. We're just going right to James and Nicole. Why would I like delve into something I don't know about without, kind of getting advice from people who know what they're doing?
I tell you, if we didn't have solid coaches and mentors, we would have, and it would have annihilated us. We would have made such big mistakes that we couldn't have gotten out of them. And then real estate groups, we attend many real estate groups throughout the month. We have, she was talking about Pete Fortunato. We go up to his meetups in groups. Tom Olson was the guy who, in his good success, was the guy who invited us to speak on stage at his event that we did, this PowerPoint kind of similar to what we're doing now. Investor Comps on the bottom, that's our original mentor, Mark Jackson, and his comps platform that he has. The Great Investors, that's a 1031 exchange investor meeting. They have them all over the country. They have national meetings.
And our local meeting there is Friday morning, so we try to go to that, but I can't go too much because I have really good French toast and I eat too much, and that's not good. So you gotta skip that every once in a while.
And here, Frank McKinney, he's like the rock star of real estate investing. He's a dynamic guy that started out on the other coast of Florida, building spec houses, huge mansions for the rich and famous. Now he's doing mountain houses in
Canton, North Carolina.
Canton,
but that's just another group. He's not really a real estate group, but we had the opportunity to go. It was a fundraiser, and for him putting the book out, he puts out some very motivational books, Beat Leukemia, different stuff. So that was another place that we could go. And then we met, there we met a guy named Hunter who does he does a lot of good stuff in Orlando and short sales and probate stuff. So we've done some stuff for him here in Sarasota. I expect we'll be working with him at some point. But that's just how you kind of meet somebody that you totally don't expect, and then you say yes to go do something, and you end up there. The other one is a RIA group that we ended up going out to Ohio. So that's with Vina Jones Cox. I don't know if everybody's heard of her, the wholesaling goddess, but she does a little bit of everything. We run a group, offset with that with some options, and then we get to talk to her super smart boyfriend Matt, who is like just brilliant. So just putting yourself in these groups and going to as many trainings as you can. If you the multifamily training, I suspect will have a ton of Baltimore investors, but I'm sure some other people, that arena is going to absolutely blow up. It's where millionaires are going to be made. And I expect there will be a lot of people. So the networking alone is just worth it sometimes to go to these things.
And then, of course, we want to give back and do events and charities. Before we moved to Florida, before our blood got very thin, we used to actually do the polar bear plunge, where we would, in February, plunge into the Chesapeake. I don't know if we'd be very successful now then in Florida, but that was one of the events we did and gave back to Relay for Life for Cancer. Jane was actually a Tough Mudders for the Wounded Warrior soldiers.
Yeah, that was a one and done too. So 18 miles and 20 obstacles. I'm good.
Then the events like the ribbon cutting for your businesses to get your business out there for the like Chamber of Commerce meetings and that sort of thing. And Frank McKinney, the guy we were telling you about with the spec houses, he actually uses a lot of his money to build villages in different countries and homeless camps.
And one of the reasons for this particular slide, so not only are you giving back, but you're always meeting people. Like, you're always just going to meet people at different things that, maybe you meet somebody at a ribbon cutting that, then is a real estate investor that has a deal that they're going to send it to you. So you just never know who you're going to meet, when you're going to meet them, or why you're going to meet them. But at some point you meet people and they keep your number, and then maybe a deal comes your way, you partner with them, you help them out along the way in different areas, which has helped grow the virtual.
And what do they say? Doing good while doing great. You're doing good for everyone else. When you're making the money, you have a bigger impact, actually make a difference.
How's our time?
And experiences. It opens up to have experiences, and a lot of people that you can have the experiences of are other real estate investors. There was a Tampa Bay Bucks game with JT Fox and Francie. Was able to do a behind the scenes with the Savannah Bananas with Jesse Cole. He told us his whole business and the background of it, and how he runs his business. And then same thing with Universal Studio, and then playing golf. It's a lot of real estate investors like golf. We're not that good at it, but we go out there and have fun and hit some balls around. This one guy in the back, with the guy in the middle back next to James, he is phenomenal. He came from Africa, and he just did a huge event 2 weeks ago, and he has a compelling story. And Oprah Winfrey showed up at his event.
Right. Yeah, I
in
think we were
Vegas.
talking about that last week, but yeah, it's
That's
just
the guy right there.
it was 1 degree of separation from somebody that somebody knew, and she heard his story and how, like, the event only, I think it sold 50 people. There weren't that many people, but can you imagine those 50 people that actually said yes, went to an event, that surprise showed up, and they got a picture with Oprah. They got to meet Oprah because they said yes and went to an event, when a lot of people were like, oh, I'm not paying that much, which was, the fee was minimal to go. I mean, when you can go to an event for a couple $1,000 and you get all that information, and you never know who's going to show up.
Exactly. And the importance of building your team. When you do any type of real estate and virtual real estate, you have to constantly stay on top of it, constantly vet people, make sure you have backups and backups to your backups. Contractors and handymen, you want to get quickly foremost, they're important. Change the locks, look at the houses before you even buy. You have to have title companies that are going to be comfortable with the way that you do real estate, and they work with investors, and they work with creative deal structures. We had to go through a couple to get to the right ones. Some of them don't like trusts, don't like different options that you put on houses and different things that it's
They don't like out-of-state people.
yeah, exactly. So you have to go through, and property managers, you always have to keep on top of them and make sure that they're continuing to do a good job to do checks and balances. And attorneys, that's when we got our acquisition manager and bookkeeper. And then that freed us up for important things to the money makers, and building that buyers list. And we wanted to go over some creative deals that we have done in the past year.
Yeah, and we'll just do these real quick. These are just things that we've done where we never saw the houses. We didn't, it wasn't a whole big deal. So Reevesville, South Carolina was one that we found on Hudson and Marshall. Yeah, I think this was right around the COVID house or coming out of it. We got it for $18,641. We sold it on a owner finance land contract for 78, 15-year term. I can't see what's underneath, but the funny story too.
Oh,
yeah, 9.5 interest. So we kept it, Dodd-Frank compliant and all that. So in this particular one was a little bit funny. Our acquisition manager wasn't really familiar with the close procedure, and basically had the people moving in before we even closed the house. Hudson and Marshall didn't care. They hadn't checked on the house in a year or so. So all was good. But basically we never saw the house. We had boots on the ground that ran up, did some pictures and did some stuff for it. We knew it was a good deal. We pre-sold it knowing there was a lot of interest in that area, and they took it over. The second one in Starkville, Mississippi. I mean, how cool is it to get a house for $14,458? I'm not making that up. Hudson and Marshall. they wanted to get rid of the house. There
were
was
squatters
grandmom died, the grandson didn't want to pay, didn't want to leave. So they were like, you can have it, but you're gonna have to deal with him. We built that into our cost, knowing, that was gonna be a couple thousand to get him out. Found a town lawyer who actually knew the family, knew that he was a little bit off his rocker there. Ended up knew the judge and some other stuff, so got him out pretty quickly. Again, we sold that one on owner finance, 60,000, 20-year, 8.99. And then this is kind of the cool thing. The owners defaulted, they didn't pay for a little bit, having some struggles, but they were, had a new baby, had some things going on. We got them back up to date. And then, basically just, they said the house wasn't small enough, so they defaulted, big enough. They defaulted at year 2, and then we ended up selling it to an investor as is for 57.5. So pretty quickly, in a couple years, we just turned that one over quickly. Never saw the house, never been to Starkville. Just a basic good bone house that we picked up because we wanted to deal with the problem.
And we only had to put windows in that house. We did very little to that house and got a down payment from the original, and then got, sold it. So we made quadruple on our investment.
And then this is just an interesting one. This was a 3-way deal, 3 states, never saw any of them. Picked up a house in Paysalet, South Carolina, which was like a very hot area. A young lady wanted to buy that house because her husband got a job there. They didn't have any down payment whatsoever, but they did have a free and clear house in Mount Pleasant, Pennsylvania. And then, basically it was just like, hey, we can trade this house that's free and clear for the house down payment and pays a lot. So we did that, sold it on a land contract. Then we sold Mount Pleasant on a land contract, and then ended up trading that note for the house in Mobile, Alabama, which then we sold to an investor actually like a year ago or something. So I just, 3 deals. We've never seen them. We've never been there. It's just something you can do.
Yeah, we had the Mobile one for rent for a year, and then after that it was turnkey, sold to another investor. So three-way deal here, not step foot in any of these houses.
Although I suspect Pace-A-Lot is, I've never been there, but it seemed like a pretty good area where there was a lot of, and that's something else virtually you do. A lot of these houses when we get, or when we're deciding to bid on or try to get, we'll put a little feeler out on Facebook. That's just a little trick, marketplace, put it out there, see what kind of engagement you get. This Pace-A-Lot house, my inbox was blowing up with, hey, owner finance, will you rent it? Will you do this? So the amount of engagement you get will tell you if that area is decent for you selling houses. And then what else did you gather from all the, we can only sell this to one person, but if I can go get 5 other houses and I had 5 people, if I had 50 people that reached out to me, then I'm sure I probably have 5 more buyers in that market. So we're always like, after that feeler goes out, then we'll, if it's a lot of engagement, we'll go after that particular market. And then we have boots on the ground. This young lady in Pace-A-Lot would run around and look at houses for us, and we give her, that's something you can give, reduction for something, or, send gift cards or something that helps them out and keeps your house looking good.
And we do a lot of investing in Gary, Indiana, because we've built a very strong network there, and our contractor is amazing. So these are examples of 2 houses that we've worked with Javier. And
you can see the numbers again. We're getting these houses pretty cheap. I don't know if we're getting them this cheap anymore, but we picked it up for $22.35 and we sold it for $140. Whitcomb was another one that had a problem child in it. We agreed to take that on with Hudson and Marshall. We got him out pretty quickly. We purchased it for $16,125. We rehabbed it, but then we rented it for 2 years. So essentially we made all our money back for the rehab. And then we put a couple more dollars into it when the renter left, and we sold it for $99,777. And we always use 7s on our numbers. So I don't know if you want to play the video real quick.
Oh, let me see. Hopefully it'll work.
Let's see. This is just 3509 Connecticut. We were pretty proud of this house. It was we did some cutting edge stuff that our contractor, we gave him a little leeway on the inside with the black that was coming over from California that most people weren't using. You know, and again, this is somebody we'll JV with, we'll partner with. This is a flip. We're doing a flip right now with him that we're going to kind of showcase on here the next couple weeks. But you know, this is just,
And this is our realtor, and she does really well with the videos. And
so, and up until this time, like after we bought these houses, we had never been to Gary, Indiana. I've not been in Illinois. So, you know, it was, we had built a team without even being there. And then, you know, at some point we had an opportunity to go there, and you know, we took them out to dinner, and, you know, we consider them friends now, but, you know, we also verify that they're doing the work that they're supposed to. You know, he sends videos, he does FaceTime, you know, we get the invoices. So everything's on the up and up, and we can keep track of it. But at the same time, it's, you know, we don't have to go there and every week to make sure he did what he was supposed to do.
I just want to show you how good his rehabs are. He does beautiful work, as you can see.
We can actually only see the
Plus,
slide.
I like the song.
What'd you say, James?
I can only see the slide. Are you trying to show a video?
Oh, it didn't come up. Oh man. I'm glad you told me that.
We're sitting here enjoying the video, but okay. Oh boy. Stop.
Hold on. Oh, wait a minute. Here we are. You guys didn't see the video, huh?
No.
Okay.
I'm so
Maybe
sorry.
next
We
time.
went through all that, and you didn't see the beautiful video with all his. We'll try it
Okay.
next
Well,
time.
anyway,
And then here's a couple deals that we actually we wanted to showcase a couple deals in our home state of Florida.
it's still an hour away, but at least they're in our home state. So Englewood, Florida here was this was kind of cool. Another problem child of COVID. A renter was in there, and the seller just was like, "Oh my God, I can't deal with her, and just please just take this house." They sold it to us on a lease option for $135. Rentals were about $1,550. We did have to get her out, and you know that took a little bit of time, but not as much. Florida wasn't quite as crazy with the COVID stuff, and she eventually just left and went back to Mississippi, so we didn't actually have to go through the whole eviction procedure. But you know, basically this has been a rental for us for a little bit. You know, with some of the craziness going on in Florida with insurance and taxes, we're in the midst. We're going to flip this one as well. So, you know, it's an hour south. We picked it up on a lease option, got some private money for $135. And we were going to keep it as a lease option and just have that. We had a 5-year option on it, and we wanted to wait that out. But the guy that we bought it from actually had private money on it. And as the prices were raising, that private money guy was, you know, driving by the house and saying, you have to get more insurance on it, and you have to putting a lot of stipulations on. So I kind of felt he was using the market to maybe try to get that house back, and I wanted to get us locked in, even though he would have had to buy us out. But obviously, 135 to 240 is a big spread. So we're getting ready to flip this one, and then we'll put that on the market. And then just this other one in Northport, it was a subject to. This was Hurricane Ian. Nice lady that just wanted to be done. Her husband had passed away, a lot of flood damage, whatever. And it's just being rented for $2,000. We took that over subject to, and at some point we'll figure out what we want to do with that, with the raising insurance rates. But right now it's manageable.
And our contractor that wanted to move down from Maryland, him and his son's living in that house. They're renting it from us, so it worked out great. And exit strategies. You always have to have extra exit strategies when virtual real estate investing. If you have 1 or 2, normally you want to have 3 or 4. 2 of our favorite exit strategies is to owner finance the house to an individual, or to lease option it. Owner finance, if instead of having to have rental where you have to take care of everything and get the calls in the middle of the night and have a property manager, you can do long-term owner financing to a family. You can spread it out. We've had some spread out 20 years, some as short as 7 years. Lease option, just, shorter term. You can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-year lease option. Sell it as is. We get it's such good prices that we don't have to do anything and just sell it as is, kind of like just flipping it, wholesaling it, or do different levels of fix and flip, fix it up, a couple things, or completely make it look beautiful like Javier does to the houses. And then there's various types of rental options. You can do regular long-term options. You can put it Section 8. You can do midterm options to like traveling nurses, Airbnb short-term options. There's that. And then there's another type of advanced strategy with just straight options, but that is definitely for another day. That's a long program that would take.
Nicole could probably talk to that.
Yes, that would be something
Much
to
better than us.
Yes.
But we're trying, we're getting there. Always trying to learn more.
And like Jane was saying earlier, why our two favorite strategies when obtaining houses from afar is to do owner finance or lease option, so that we don't have to take care of the insurance and the taxes and the day-to-day. She was saying that the property taxes and the insurance in Florida is skyrocketing. The one house that we were showing you in Inglewood, the insurance on that house, that quadrupled.
It went from $199 a month to $445 a month, and that was probably after Ian.
That was
And
like a couple months.
Yeah,
after.
we did make a claim, but we didn't follow through on it because it just didn't make sense with the minimal damage and, well, with the damage that was done and what they would have paid for. So it just didn't make sense to do that, and we never claimed. We didn't go through with it, and our insurance still went up to $445.
And that's why we like owner financing. That way we're kind of the bank and we don't have to take care of the wear and tear. And there you have it. That's our that's us in a nutshell, and how we got our start and what we're doing now.
And just, I think, we hear with a lot of people that they just can't get involved, or they can't get deals because their market is too high, or, certainly with the prices that the last couple years through COVID Florida was just insane. $100,000 after, over ask, over no appraisal, no inspection. People were just kind of buying, there's deals out there, but you still have to get them. And it just, it made sense for us to go to different areas and look for different things and get deals from different areas. And that's just something you can do with if you kind of learn that way. I'll stop sharing.
Okay, I'll stop sharing, and we can take questions. We can ask questions, or let us know what's going on with you and your investing. Any exciting things you're working on? And you don't have to raise your hand. You can just unmute and talk.
Does anybody invest in other states or other areas?
I was going to ask you.
Hello.
Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
It's me again. It's Marissa. I just recently renovated my condo in DC, so It's actually on the market.
Good job.
I'm trying to get.
I remember that. That's awesome.
Yeah. What is it?
I just finished it. 2-bedroom, 1 bath, about 789 square feet. It's on the market now. It's been on the market for about 2 weeks. And I want to know, is there any other place I should be putting it other than, I have a real estate agent and she's put it on all the, I would call regular sites like Zillow and Redfin and, sites like that. But I heard you mention Facebook Marketplace, because I'm thinking my buyer is probably an investor. So is there any other place you can think of I should be putting this?
Yeah, Marketplace is a good one just to get eyes on it. I mean, it can always refer back to the thing. We still use Craigslist. We'll still do for sale by owner. Just link it back to your agent. A lot of times we try to sell it ourselves first, and then if we're not successful with that, but those 3 sites have been good for us. I'll tell you, lately Marketplace has been the best place for us.
Okay.
Even when you go to your meetings, when you go to your real estate meetings, or if there's if they have Facebook pages, if you get permission to put them on there.
Okay. Yeah, it's only been on the market 2 weeks, but I'm really anxious to sell it. So,
What's
we're
the
not really
asking
getting any
price?
movement. 199,995.
Well, it's a good price. You know,
Yeah, she put it that way purposely so that it would move. I don't know if it's just because it's getting colder out. She told me that's determined too. People don't really like to move when it's cold.
Yeah, school, yeah.
And the school starts, they don't want to.
Yeah.
What is, what's the rents there?
Someone in my building, I think, rented it for a little bit over 16, I think. It's either 16 or 18. I'm not sure, to be honest.
Are there any restrictions with that for investors, like short-term or nurses, or so there's no
No,
restrictions on the rentals? Is it near a hospital?
no,
Uh,
it is not. No. It's near a metro line, but it's not near a hospital.
If you shoot me a email or give me a message, we do know an investor in
Okay.
DC, so maybe I'll float it her way or connect you to, and you can, maybe
Okay.
she's got
Can you
somebody that
put
would
your
look at.
email? Can you put
Yep.
your email in the chat? Okay, thank
It's in
you.
there.
Oh, thank you.
Mhm.
Sure.
And I apologize, you guys couldn't see the video. I see, Charlene said that couldn't see the video, and Bodie's doing good. She has, he's a smart little guy. James, you said you had a question?
Oh, no, I was gonna suggest if you want to, you can take the link for the video and pop it in chat, and then people can cut and paste and watch it later or something.
Oh,
No.
It was really for me. I wanted to watch it, but I figured I'd share it with everybody else.
Oops. Oh, goodness.
now
I'm
we'll
trying to
probably won't
grab
be
it.
able to find.
Here it is.
Oh, technology. Does anybody have any other questions about building teams, building relationships, finding a market? By group. Anything we can do, be doing better to help you guys out, or
It's not letting me copy it.
it's not letting us copy it.
I'm trying to copy and paste it.
Right click.
I did. It says
I
move
think
here.
this was,
Oh, copy
I
it. There we
think-
go. Go ahead.
I think this was great. I particularly liked what you were talking about networking. And going to events, because particularly if you go to events where there's fundraising going on, it's a great place to meet high net worth individuals, and you can start building relationships, tell them what you're doing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing we really missed out on in Baltimore. I mean, we went to a ton of events. We went to, because we had just retired, and we had the time to do that. We were trying to learn, but we were such introverts. We just sat in the corner, so we really didn't talk to anybody. And looking back, like that's one of the things I think that held us back a little bit, because we didn't, we went to the events, we learned a lot, but we didn't talk to people. So I think we would have been farther ahead had we just, kind of talk to people. And it's actually funny, a lot of real estate investors, all say that they're introverts. So it's kind of like, I don't know why we don't just all say, all right, we're all introverts, so we're just going to talk and figure this out. And, but yeah, we go to as many events as we can. The more events you go to, the more people you're going to meet, the more people you're going to meet in a different area. And, you're going to get stuff in your inbox that you don't know what to do with. And you're just going to say, early on, we would just say, well, I don't know what to do with this. So I just discarded it. But now I can say, hey, Marissa's in DC, or, Nicole is looking for multifamily, or Miranda's in West Virginia, and I know that little town is close to where she is. And so there's just always things. So the more people you meet, the more you can partner with people, the more that, information you get, or the more things that are going to come to you. And we're excited for the multifamily. I feel like we'll learn a lot more than what we did the first time, because that glazed over look that.
Well, I'm glad we went the first time, because
Yeah.
it gave us a leg up on and it taught us a whole lot. But, it's just going to the class several times, you really grab nuggets each time, and you're at a different level, so you can learn more each time.
And it's funny how much you retain, like when you think you don't know anything about anything, and then you're like, that class didn't make sense, but then somebody would say something, I'd be like, oh yeah, that was what Nicole was talking about, or that was what James was talking about at the Starbucks when we got lost, or whatever, you know what I mean? It just, it stuff sticks in that you don't know because you don't know, but then, you know, you hear it and it's just good. So we're excited to be there for the class.
Deidre
Anyway.
has her hand raised.
Oh, go ahead.
Hello, I didn't want to interrupt when people were talking, so I just waited. Thanks for this call. It was very educational. I guess I wanted to get some take on more savvy investors, experienced investors like yourself. I'm a new investor. I haven't done one deal just yet, except for the home that I own, which I live in myself, but I'm trying to, branch out to get into real estate investing, which is why I'm here.
Awesome.
I'm getting a lot of exposure to, classes, keep joining these classes, learn more stuff. In the last class, I went to a workshop this past weekend, and the price tag was $25,000 just to learn privileged information that I may not know now. There's all this different learn through this course. I almost felt like, maybe should I do this? If I had $25,000, should I be buying a property? They wanted to take money out of my 401k. They're telling me how they could do all these different things with us. What's it called? SD IRA, self-directed IRA.
Self-directed IRA, sure.
Yeah, there's so many ways to get the money that I have, for my retirement. But, not to say they weren't trustworthy. Trust me. I just feel like being in where you've come from, starting out and different things. I even Google properties now in Indiana, not that I'm in North Carolina based, and, I wouldn't be willing to do, look outside my market. I see these houses for $8,000. I could maybe afford 20% down on that,
Sure.
should I, but I would need your contract.
Sure.
There's so many things, and I just don't, of course we don't want to be taken advantage of, but what can you say about that? If you can say anything about that.
Yeah. So I think initially, like for us, it was good to go local, and then find, we were lucky. We did all the little local things that are fairly, cheaper. It wasn't. I remember early on we had the chance to go to a local meeting or the Than Miller guy or whatever, and right away they wanted to charge us $50,000 because they knew we had 401 money. We chose not to do that. We stuck with the local folks in Baltimore. And we just met different people. So I think some of it's based on what money you have, where you are in your journey, and what you're looking to do. We did a lot of just networking and the local meetings. And then we tried to supplement that with, just the smaller courses that, like the multifamily course for whatever, $3,000. That's a no-brainer with all the information you get for 4 days. We've been to classes that, basically, it's triple that, and you don't get anywhere near that. So I think you just have to pick and choose, try to find a community that is trustworthy, that you can kind of go to, bounce ideas off of, and then just supplement that as the money comes in. We try to, if we sell a house, then we'll maybe pick a training that's a little bit more expensive, or gets us in a different door, or provides us with something different. And every training you go to, the most important thing I see with new people is they go to the training and they just like, okay, I did 4 days of training, I didn't do anything. Every training we go to, we want to implement one thing. It can be something small as doing mailers, or, reaching out to 10 people that we met, or, adding a Facebook post, or whatever training it is, you have to implement something, because you'll just get into that rhythm of, we know people that have been to a million more trainings than us, and they still haven't bought their first house.
So it is about taking action, just getting out there and taking the action. If you take the action and you got to have a good deal, then you'll have people here for you to help you and navigate you through it. That's
Thank
what, like,
you.
oh, of course. And like Jane was saying, when we do go to meetings and classes or conferences, we always have a sheet of paper. I always put a sheet of paper on the side and like have it 1 through 10 or 1 through 20 and just, put in there ideas and what I'm going to implement quickly as soon as I leave. Because Jane's right. A lot of times, people go and they get books and the books sit up on the bookshelf collecting dust. And, so as long as you're going to have forward momentum and continue to act every time you learn, you act upon it.
And we're a little bit jealous of multifamily right now because I wish we were a little farther ahead. I really think that's going to be a big, big thing. So I would, that's why we want to get in this class too. I think that's going to be the big thing coming out. I think residential is going to be a little bit static with, interest rates are, the people that have the 3.5 interest rate or 2.7, they're not going to be as anxious to sell because they can't go to anything that's at 8%. So I think we're going to, we might have some foreclosures, but we're hearing the banks are really, 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 really trying to work with people. So I think residential is kind of going to be, a little bit tougher.
You have to have creative deals. And
then I think multifamily is really, Nicole was talking about it a little bit with, balloons coming due and different stuff.
And that's what we'd like to do both. We'll always stick with the single family, but branch out to have some multifamily as well.
So hope that helped.
Yes, it did. It did help. Thank you very much.
Awesome. No problems. All right, guys, anything else?
Anybody else have any comments or questions?
One last
I
question.
guess we
We've got
will.
2 minutes left.
Yep. Another question, or we'll call it a wrap. Or next week, I think we're just getting started on the rehab, so we're gonna kind of go through that next week. The rehab,
The current
rehab in Gary, Indiana. So we'll kind of start from the beginning, how we got it, the paperwork, why we got the discount, different stuff. And the YouTube, this will be up on YouTube if you want to review. If you have any questions, our email's in there. I definitely watched that webinar that I think is in the link, Creative Strategies, which is going to be the best way to get properties, residential and multifamily.
You'll be ahead of most of the other investors. Most investors only know how to obtain houses one way. This gives you
multiple ways,
many ways.
It's the multiple strategies.
Exactly.
So. All right, guys. Thanks for everybody being here. Appreciate your time, and no time is precious, and appreciate you being here and spending it with us. Have a great night.
See you next week.
Thanks, Nicole. Thanks, James, for everything.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a good week.
You too.
Thank you.